Formula One is facing its biggest shakeup in decades, and not everyone's happy. The FIA's shocking new statement about the 2026 regulations has sent shockwaves through the paddock, with top drivers warning they might walk away from the sport altogether. Imagine a grid without your favorite stars. Forced out by rules they say could destroy the essence of racing. Will these changes save Formula One or break it? Stay tuned, because what's coming next could redefine the future of F1 forever. For months, whispers about these new rules have been echoing through the world of Formula One. Drivers have spoken, engineers have hinted, and fans are left wondering if this new chapter will elevate the sport to even greater heights, or strip away the raw essence that makes racing so thrilling. The FIA has finally broken its silence. Drivers are reacting loudly, and the future of the sport could hang in the balance. The FIA, Formula One's governing body, has grown increasingly frustrated with the criticism directed at the new rules. Drivers such as Charles Leclerc, Lance Stroll, and Lando Norris have openly questioned whether the 2026 era is heading in the wrong direction. Their concern largely stems from the fact that the new cars are projected to be slower between 1 and 2.5 seconds off today's pace. For casual fans, this might not sound dramatic, but for drivers who live and breathe by milliseconds, that gap is monumental. Nicholas Tombazis, the FIA's single-seater director, insists that people are focusing too much on lap times. He explained that in his eyes, speed is not the ultimate measure of Formula One. Tombazis said he was surprised at the emphasis placed on performance gaps, pointing out that the sport has gone through eras of faster and slower cars, and each time, both drivers and fans eventually adjust. His philosophy is simple. Once people adapt to the changes, it will no longer matter. The races will remain competitive, the drama will stay alive, and Formula One will still be Formula One. But for many, speed is everything. After all, this is Formula One, the fastest motorsport on Earth. Slower cars, even by a small margin, feel like a step backwards. And this time, the regulations aren't just tweaking numbers, they're changing the very DNA of the car. The new rules call for a radical 50-50th split between internal combustion and electric power. These cars will have monstrous torque and reach terrifying top speeds on straights, but they will also have less downforce in the corners. The balance between control and chaos is shifting, and nobody knows exactly how it will play out. For drivers like Charles Leclerc, this is more than just a numbers game. It's about unlearning years of instinct. The Ferrari star admitted that the 2026 cars will force drivers to forget much of what they know and start fresh, erasing habits they've carried since childhood. Leclerc explained that this change feels strange because muscle memory is such a vital part of racing. Having to wipe away skills honed since the age of 4 and relearn the basics is a daunting prospect, yet he also sees it as part of the challenge. A new blank page that could test even the best in the sport. Lance Stroll, meanwhile, has raised another pressing issue. While he may not be celebrated as one of the elite drivers, his opinion reflects concerns shared by many. Stroll believes the sport is becoming too artificial, more about engineers and technology than raw driver instinct. He argued that cars should be designed with plenty of downforce, leaving it up to the teams and drivers to figure out performance naturally, rather than having every detail controlled remotely from the pit wall. For him, too much technology kills the adrenaline that makes racing so captivating. Interestingly, Fernando Alonso, Stroll's teammate at Aston Martin, partially agrees. Alonso, a two-time world champion with a career stretching back to 2003, has seen countless regulation changes. He admits that some tracks, like Spa and Suzuka, will lose part of their magic under the new rules. These are circuits where downforce and speed are everything, and with the coming changes, drivers will be sliding more, wrestling the car rather than mastering its precision. Alonso did add that it's difficult to predict fully, based on simulator work, since real-world testing often feels different, but even he suspects the spectacle won't be quite the same, at least in the first few years. Not every driver is sounding alarms, however. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, sees opportunity rather than disaster. Having debuted in 2007 and lived through several major shifts in the sport, Hamilton embraces regulation changes as part of Formula One's DNA for him. Every big change forces teams and drivers alike to dig deeper, innovate, and sharpen their skills. He described the learning curve as steep but invigorating, a challenge that makes the sport what it is. In Hamilton's eyes, it's too soon to write off the 2026 regulations. Instead, he prefers to wait and see how the innovations play out once the cars hit the track. And while there are concerns about lap times, there's also the thrilling possibility of speed records being shattered. Toto Wolff, the boss of Mercedes, revealed that under full power, the new engines could push cars close to 400 kilometers per hour. That's faster than anything we've seen in modern Formula One, a speed that edges into the territory of jet aircraft. Supporting this, Philippe Drugovich, RESE driver for Aston Martin, described testing the new simulations as like sitting on a rocket. Coming out of corners, the surge of torque is overwhelming, creating a sensation unlike anything drivers have experienced before. Of course, this isn't the first time Formula One has faced such a monumental change. The last major revolution came in 2014 when the hybrid era began. Back then, Mercedes had secretly prepared years in advance, and when the new rules arrived, they dominated the field. Rivals were left scrambling, and the sport endured nearly a decade of one-team supremacy. The FIA insists this time will be different. Teams have been given plenty of notice and time to prepare, and the rules are designed to prevent another monopoly. But as history has shown, there's always someone who finds a loophole, a hidden advantage, and suddenly the grid is no longer balanced. At the core of this debate lies a fundamental question about Formula One's identity. Should the sport embrace innovation, sustainability, and the promise of a greener future, even if it risks losing some of the raw, visceral qualities that make racing unforgettable? Or should it cling tightly to its traditions, keeping the cars fast, loud, and purely driver-focused, even if that means appearing outdated in a rapidly modernizing world? For the FIA, represented by voices like Nicholas Tombazis, the path forward is clear. They believe the future of the sport must be greener, more balanced, and in step with the world's push towards sustainability. But for drivers such as Charles Leclerc and Lance Stroll, the cost of this progress might simply be too high. Formula One is no stranger to reinvention. From the ground effect era of the 1980s to the dawn of the hybrid engines, in the 2010s, every generation has brought both excitement and controversy. The sport has always adapted, even when the transitions seemed rocky. What makes the 2026 regulations so different, however, is the sheer scale of change. This isn't just an adjustment in aerodynamics, fuel limits, or tire specifications. It's a total rewrite of the script, with a radical 50-50ths split between combustion and electric power. The DNA of the car itself is being reshaped, leaving even the most experienced champions unsure of what the future will look like. The paddock today stands divided. Some see the dawn of a new golden era, filled with rocket-like acceleration and jaw-dropping speeds. Others fear disaster, imagining slower, less thrilling races and drivers forced to relearn instincts honed over a lifetime. One thing is certain, Formula One will never look the same again. The FIA is confident in its vision. Engineers are burning the midnight oil. Drivers are bracing for a new learning curve, and the fans are left with questions, hopes, and just a touch of fear. The 2026 regulations could be the most dramatic turning point Formula One has ever seen. Some believe it will ignite a new era of speed and innovation, while others fear it could strip away the sport's very soul. One thing's for sure: when those lights go out in 2026, history will be written before our eyes. But what do you think? Will these changes save Formula One or ruin it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more F1 stories. Thanks for watching.